Go once again to our friend Gregory Wrightstone, the author of Inconvenient Facts, the science that Al Gore doesn't want you to know about. Wrightstone, folks, is I don't know, he's got the best name ever for a geologist. He's a geologist named Wrightstone. Gregory, Merry Christmas to you, sir.
That is, there's another guy that works for National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration. He's a hurricane expert. His last name is Christopher Landsea. now, that almost Wrightstone is a geologist and Landsea is a hurricane guy is pretty good.
That is pretty good. That's great. Well, hey, I wanted to have you on. I saw this article and I thought of you just because I knew you could speak to it. But Joe Biden, in the latest debate, I think the sixth round of Democratic debates, he was asked about oil and natural gas production. He was asked, as president, would you be willing to sacrifice some of the growth in oil and natural gas, even knowing potentially that it could displace thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of blue-collar workers in the interest of transitioning into that greener economy? His answer, Gregory, was, the answer is yes, end quote. Your response?
Yeah, it won't be thousands. It'll be millions of people that they want unemployed and made out of work. That's what they want. They want to make, and I'm calling you, as you know, from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and right now I'm about 6,000 feet above the largest natural gas accumulation in the world in the Marcellus Shale. So we have, it's estimated somewhere about 180,000 people or so working in this business, and I can personalize it. They want each one of these employees. They want them unemployed. They want them out of work. They said, well, you can go get high-paying jobs elsewhere, but let's look at what we do to my family. My son-in-law works in the oil field. He's got a political science degree, which gets you what? Manager at a Walmart maybe. But he's got a tremendous job working. He's worked himself up as an engineer, and he's gone out in the field 2 weeks at a time, and he's home for a week. And it's difficult with a young family, but he makes tremendous money. And there are many tens of thousands of people just like that are able to provide for their family, provide for their children. They just had a new son that was born to my daughter last Thursday, by the way.
Wow, congratulations.
Him. And it's difficult, but he's making tremendous money. It's difficult in a family like that to work these long hours, but allows my daughter to stay home with her family because he has this high-paying job providing the reliable, abundant, low-cost natural gas that we use every day. And it's just incredible that they think that they being Joe Biden and AOC and the rest, they think they can power America with wind and solar, and it's just not so. And I like to look at what's going on in China right now. The recent EPA administrator was just appointed by Trump just recently announced that we had reduced our carbon dioxide emissions by 14% over the last decade. But he said, and this is the important thing that comes after but, China's CO2 emissions in the last 45 days have increased that amount. The amount that we reduced, they've increased that. And it took us 10 years to reduce that much. In 45 days, China has increased their CO2 emissions to take up everything we've reduced. And anything that we do is being completely overwhelmed by increasing carbon dioxide emissions from China, mainly. India also. But India is is completely different, where they're striving to lift millions, hundreds of millions of people up out of generational poverty.
Let me ask you this, Gregory. Is it because China doesn't care about the environment, or they know that the left's, quote, scientific, end quote, arguments are not accurate?
I think it's a little bit of both. They clearly, environmental regards is not high on their list of priorities. They put economic health above environmental health or the health of their people. That's pretty clear. Now let's just be clear too. Both Donald Trump and Premier Xi from China both understand that the way you get a vibrant, growing economy is through reliable, abundant, low-cost energy. In China, they have a command and control economy where they say, we're just going to dial it up. We're going to open more coal mines and lignite mines, which is even dirtier than coal. We're going to open up more mines. We're going to create more electricity, coal-fired electricity generation stations, and we're going to do this and power our country. And we're going to provide that low-cost, abundant energy to do that. Here in the United States, Donald Trump, he's doing things to protect us. He got us out of, thank God, he got us out of the Paris Climate Accord. He doesn't want to have any parts of the Green New Deal because he understands that what will that do? It will drive up energy costs, which then drive up costs of everything we use, and that's going to put the brakes on our economy. He's acting in the American people's best interest. He says America first. So the Chinese, to answer your question, they've never said anything. They're giving lip service to the Paris Climate Accords, but yet doing exactly opposite, and then turbocharging their coal-fired use. So I think if they would actually say what they believe, I think actually the Chinese would believe that I do, that any warming that we've seen, which is fairly modest actually in the last 100 or so years, is due to the same natural forces that have been active since the dawn of time. These are the same natural forces that have driven temperatures up and down and up and down and up and down for thousands and millions of years. They didn't stop in the middle of the 20th century.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I ask is, and I'm not suggesting that a giant totalitarian country is, beyond hubris and not able to fall. Clearly, they are. Countries like that are. Our country is vulnerable as well. I'm just thinking if it was an actual danger to their power, I feel like a giant totalitarian government like China that enforces a one-child policy would actually act, and they would be very drastic in those actions. Likewise, if the type of climate catastrophes that people are predicting were real as well, I just don't think there'd be too many banks that would give mortgages for beachfront properties if, for example, that was going to be underwater in a few years. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly. And I think the best example of what you're talking about there, when you talk about banks funding, if we look at the Maldives, the island, this island chain has been listed by the UN in all three of their past three most recent reports as being one of the most endangered nations or island nations on Earth because of climate change and sea level rise. They're building a new airport there. They're building 3 new huge hotel complexes, resort complexes, oceanfront, of course, and there's no seawall, there's nothing like that. They're being funded to the tune of many tens of millions or more dollars with these 3 new resort hotel complexes along with a new airport. Who's going to do, if it's really the problem they're saying, what bank in their right mind, if you're sitting on the board of the directors and this is actually going to happen, I'd fire that guy yesterday if you're going to make that bad of a decision. Well, clearly these people, they're all about risk management, and they don't want to do anything that'll risk their investments. If they really believe that, they wouldn't be funding all of this on one of the most at-risk pieces of real estate supposedly in the world.
That's exactly right. Oh, man. We're talking with Gregory Wrightstone, again, geologist. He's author of the book Inconvenient Facts. Now, Gregory, I know we mentioned it the last couple times, and if you're waiting until now to do your Christmas shopping, you kind of, you're probably just going to have to give it to them a little later, maybe after Christmas. But your book makes a great Christmas gift, and also the app that you can download on your smartphone. Yeah,
book sales have been incredibly strong. We've been number 1 bestseller on Amazon in a couple categories, really since March, off and on. Interestingly, the best-selling book in the environmental studies is a book called Psilocybin Mushrooms of the World. For some reason, it's outselling me. So they took over number 1. Apparently, a lot of people around the world want to learn about psilocybin mushrooms. But those are the magic mushrooms, of course. But,
okay, I got you.
Yeah. And there's the book. We've actually we're in our 5th printing, which was delayed. I'm a stickler on quality control, and as you know, my book has some high resolution, 90 full color charts and illustrations, and it just wasn't to my standards. So we shipped our last books out of my Minnesota warehouse yesterday. So our inventory in my warehouse is 0. Amazon will probably run out in the next couple of weeks and go without. So if you're going to buy a book, you better do it now, because they're going to. Amazon and Barnes & Noble will probably be out of books by the first week of January until we restock within the next couple of weeks after that. So, yeah, it's been an incredible run, and we've got the smartphone app has been skyrocketing. We're approaching 50,000 downloads of the smartphone app. You can get it at the Apple Store or the App Store or the Google Play. Just search for Inconvenient Facts. It's powerful.
Well, especially when you're in a conversation, especially around the holidays. Then this is something they could get. You could get right now. You're going to go to the holidays.
Oh, yes.
There's going to be that family member that spouts off about global warming, and maybe you could work in some inconvenient facts for them.
Yeah, if your idiot nephew Billy is at Christmas dinner tells you that polar bears are going extinct, you could just pull up fact number 52 on your smartphone and say, well, wait a minute, Billy, here's a chart of 60 years of polar bear population history showing they're increasing, not decreasing. And everything is fully sourced and referenced. And I've got a pretty cool video that I've created, original videos with each one of these inconvenient facts. So I'd encourage your listeners to go get that. And there's so many things going on right now in terms of climate change, and they're all bad. Not in terms of climate change actually happening, but the proposals to solve this non-existent problem. It's going to hurt the United States. And God help us if any one of these Democrat candidates for president gets elected.
Yeah.
Or if the GOP majority gets overturned in the Senate. It's these people. What they're proposing would be economically crippling. It would restrict our freedoms greatly. And for what use? There's just if we look at using the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change's own calculations, if we reduced 100% of our carbon dioxide emissions in the United States, it would only avert 0.07 of a degree Fahrenheit of warming, using their own 0.07. How many jobs lost is that worth? I'll tell you, 0. And it's almost beyond measurement. So we got, we look at this, and then again, it's even if we would reduce all of our carbon dioxide emissions, China's increases are just it's just incredible, the amount of CO2 output that they're increasing every day, actually. And it's of course I'm a big proponent of the many benefits of the modest warming that we've seen, combined with increasing CO2. I just got some more yesterday. I've got my new shipment of my I Love CO2 bumper stickers and I Love CO2 buttons in, and we're ordering another shipment of my I Love CO2 T-shirts. So they're I always get a lot of looks at the gym when I wear that.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge proponent of the many benefits of our changing climate.
Gregory Wrightstone, appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much. Your book, again, Inconvenient Facts of Science Al Gore Doesn't Want You to Know. Have a Merry Christmas, sir.
Merry Christmas to you.
All righty, folks, we're going to take a break.